You know, the three main types of grass that we're dealing with on this body of water is you're gonna have hydrilla, milfoil, and then eelgrass. And basically, I mean, a lot of people call a lot of grass a different, like the wrong name, or, you know, don't really know what they're, like they see some hydrilla and call it milfoil or vice versa, anything like that. Basically what's gonna happen is your hydrilla and milfoil is gonna grow, they're all gonna grow from the bottom and on a stalk. Your milfoil is most of the time gonna have some bigger leaves. When you're looking at it in the water, you know, they'll be half dollar size, maybe a little bit bigger. And it's a lot softer grass. And what I mean by that is like your bait will come through it pretty easily. Like you're not gonna have to work, like if you threw a lipless through there, you're not really gonna have to work it really hard to get it through it. Just a little bit of, you know, tension's gonna break it loose from that. Well, vice versa with the hydrilla situation, their leaves and their stems are a lot crisper or harder. And that's basically, if you were gonna work a bait through it, it's gonna take a little bit more effort to get it through there. The fish like both. I mean, the bait fish like both. And I mean, they're very similar, but they're not similar in a way, in that type of way. The milfoil is what you really wanna look for in the fall. That's what gets that cheese canopy, that, you know, that slime up on top that makes it really good for frog fishing. You know, it can be good for flipping as well. And it's better situation where it's like kind of isolated. You'll get isolated milfoil clumps. They get in those really good. And then your hydrilla type deal, most of the time you're gonna have it on the main river because it can withstand that current a little bit better than the milfoil. That's where you're gonna be, you know, flipping those, you know, straight right off the channel, stuff like that. Your straight edges where you can, you know, throw something down the edge of it like a square bill or spinnerbait or something like that. And completely 180 that is the eelgrass. And kind of what's happened here is the eelgrass has kind of taken over a lot of the lake, which in turn has spread the fish out. And basically what the eelgrass is it's what them fish, or what bass really love to be in. It's very good for them to spawn in. They can hide in it. They're hatched. The fry can hide in it really well. And it doesn't really go away, you know, it doesn't really die off that much. It'll die down a little bit, but it will never completely go away. And it's basically, it looks like, if you see it down in the water, it'll look like grass in your yard. It'll just be long, like a leaf, you know, probably a 1/4 inch to 3/8 inches wide, just a blade of grass. But it can grow up to, you know, 5 or 6 feet deep. And those fish can just swim through it. And I mean, it's good for fishing. I mean, it makes the lake really healthy, but when there's that much of a population of it like we have here, it really spreads the fish out, and it's hard to, you know, concentrate them in that stuff, to where if there was not as much of it prevalent and you happen to find 3 or 4 patches of it, that's when it gets really good, because that's where the concentration of fish is gonna go, especially in the springtime or early winter. I mean, they like to be around that eelgrass. It's just a place they can hold to if there's not a whole lot of it. But like I said, when you've got as much of it here as we do, it makes the fishing a little bit tougher, you know, to dial in a concentration of fish on a certain eelgrass patch, because there's just so much of it. So it's all three good for bass fishing, you know, in the roundabout way. You just have to fish them different, and, you know, in different times of the year, the grass does different stuff. But like I said, the eelgrass doesn't really die off that much, and it grows at a pretty rapid pace, and it can take over a lake pretty quick.